In today's episode, Tebow and Sanchez could be headed out of the Big Apple, NFL records could be in major jeopardy, and AP could be the favorite for this year's MVP race.
Also, it's our Christmas/End of the World special.
You're watching The Pitch.
Welcome to The Pitch. As always, I'm your host, John Fox, alongside here with Miss Sabatelli and Mike Peps Peroni. Now, starting in the NFL for today's show, Tim Tebow wants out as McElroy gets the call against the Chargers. Thoughts on the Jets? Who wants to take this first?
And why wouldn't he want out? I love this story as a Patriots fan. What, they give him a fourth-round pick for Tim Tebow, essentially making him Mark Sanchez backup, and everyone thought that possibly if Mark Sanchez struggled like he did, maybe Tim Tebow would get a chance to start for the Jets and possibly get him back into the playoff picture. Well, that didn't happen, and now Mark Sanchez blew their chances throwing 4 picks against the Titans. Now they're eliminated from the playoffs altogether, and instead of having Tim Tebow eclipse Mark Sanchez as the starter, they get Greg McElroy eclipse Tim Tebow altogether, and that pisses not only Mark Sanchez off, but also Tim Tebow. Now they both won out. It's a complete disgrace in New York. And this basically summarizes the Jets season, in my opinion.
This Jets team's a mess. Like, Rex Ryan, everyone just horrible. You bring over a guy, you waste a couple $1 million on him. Why not even play him? I understand he has injuries and everything, whatever happened, but now he's back, and you're not even going to give the guy a chance. And he brought a team to a playoff game and everything. Mark Sanchez's record is just terrible. As just a quarterback in general for your team. He's sitting on the bench. You're not even going to play the original backup. You're going to play McElroy instead, which I guess I can understand at this point, but it's the fact of why do you have Tim Tebow even in there only for the publicity? Why would you have him in there? You're paying a couple $1 million for a friggin' publicity stunt.
Well, I think that's what they traded for.
I know, but still, though. But you're still paying money to him, and only Rex Ryan, a moron, and Rex Ryan would do something like that. Honestly, it's good to see what you have in the back, because obviously Mark Sanchez is not your starting quarterback of the future. He's going to be a blowout just like so many others in the league. And he's not that quarterback that you thought he would be coming out of college. And it's good to see what McElroy can do for the Jets. And let him have a chance and see if he can be a quarterback for the future.
Yeah, and the thing is, the Jets are technically stuck here. They still owe Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez, I like what Pep said. However, Mark Sanchez might actually be their starter next year just due to money, financial reasons. I think he's locked in the books for another $12 million. I think 8 of it's guaranteed.
Idiots.
I think they're stuck here with Mark Sanchez. They're stuck here with Tim Tebow. Now it looks like they're going to get less than a 4th-round pick, if anything, for Tim Tebow. And Tim Tebow might not even get a starting gig. And this is going to really show, Tim Tebow, they asked him, oh, what do you think about this Greg McElroy thing? Obviously, he's not going to say, I hate the move, because his whole character thing. He was nice again. He said, listen, I don't like the move. Yep. However, I'm going to do what I need when the team needs me to help them win. I'm going to do what I can. And, he's still a nice guy. He's still a class act. You're already out of the playoffs. Why not let him just showcase his skills a little bit? If anything, you're upping his trade value for offseason again. Right. And maybe you can get some value.
Rex Ryan, once again, is just a moron of a coach and will eventually be fired after all this dramatic crap from the Jets.
I don't know if he'll get fired. But
he should. He brings too much negative attention by trying to make positive attention happen, and it never does. So that's what you deserve. You get what you deserve. He'll be fired eventually, just like
there is a report out there that the Jets might actually go to the Philadelphia Eagles and possibly offer Mark Sanchez straight up for Michael Vick, change of scenery for both struggling quarterbacks, which essentially could be a good move for both teams.
Just selling one shit bum for a washed-up shit bum.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to do that, why not showcase Tim Tebow again and Michael Vick, who's a scrambling quarterback? Tim Tebow's a scrambling quarterback. Maybe it can work out.
Good, but I mean, that's
well, Mark Sanchez did.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tim Tebow, maybe the Eagles too.
All right, moving on. AP, Megatron, J.J. Watt, and Aldon Smith are all threatening to break NFL records. Thoughts on all of their chances? We'll start off with AP.
Yeah, another recovery story, ACL surgery in this offseason, basically a year ago, and then not only to recover and get on back in the field, but possibly break Eric Dickerson's rushing record. This is an amazing story, and all of a sudden he's back into the MVP race. Definitely, I mean, going into this year, I mean, if you've seen this kind of season, you definitely put AP for the comeback player of the year. It just so happens that Peyton Manning's also in the discussion for not only comeback player, but also MVP. Yeah. Just a great story for AP, and really shows anyone that possibly has the surgery in the future can basically come back, and not only come back, but really thrive.
I think it's a great thing too. I mean, what does he need? Like another 250, 300
Basically,
yards or something for it.
Eric Dickerson, I think, has 2105, and he needed to average 144 these next two games.
He needs about 300.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that he does get over 2,000, but he's not going to break Eric Dickerson's record.
It's going to be tough to break that record. He is on average for it, though. He is pretty much like his average per game. He's on average to do it.
He has to
the
go.
way he's been going.
Yeah, it's true. But he does have to go against Houston's defense, who has been suspect these last few weeks. And then he goes against Green Bay, who are both real good teams. Defensive-wise,
I think he can rip apart Green Bay. He'll have a tough time with Houston.
These two games are going to be huge for his MVP race, though.
Definitely.
And huge for the Vikings in general.
True.
All right. Next one, Megatron. You can take this one. Start off.
I really just think he's just unbelievable wide receiver. Anyways, there's a chance to just break the receiving record. It's ridiculous. I mean, you knew he's going to be a Hall of Famer anyways. He had all this hype coming in, and he's proven to deserve all the hype that he's ever gotten from any critic ever.
True.
So he's just the best wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. Just on a big offensive team, and I think he could do it.
Yeah, I think he can also break this record. I think this one's going to be a little bit more difficult than AP here with Jerry Rice. I think he has 1,886 yards, and Calvin Johnson's going to need another, I think it's 125 a game or something along that line.
He can do it.
He could do it. But, Calvin Johnson, I love how last year he was a huge touchdown threat, huge end zone threat, and people are saying, all right, we're going to shut down Megatron in the end zone, in the red zone. Yeah, all right, shut him down. I'm just going to torture you for more yards. I mean, he's just throwing a huge season. Another MVP caliber season. Too bad the Detroit Lions suck. But Calvin Johnson's been a huge factor for that team. He's basically virtually that whole entire offense. Another great season for Calvin Johnson. And like Pep said, he is the best receiver in the game.
Hey, if it'll keep Lions fans coming to the games, then
True.
There you go. All right, next one. Mitch, you can take this one. J.J. Watt.
Yeah. And I just want to say, Calvin Johnson, I don't think he's going to break Jerry Rice's record.
You don't think he's going to break it?
No, he could, though. J.J. Watt, I think both of these people are going to break Michael Strahan's 23 sack record. Alden Smith and J.J. Watt, who are, in my opinion, two of the best defensive players in the game, if not the two best defensive players in the game. Alden Smith may be the best pure pass rusher in this game, and J.J. Watt is just the best motor, best defender in the game. What he can do, swatting plays, getting the running back, forcing a quarterback to make bad throws, getting after the quarterback, sacking the quarterback. To have 19.5 right now with 2 games to go, it's huge. J.J. Watt's into the MVP discussion. I say both of them break it. And great season.
I couldn't agree with you more. Alden Smith has just come out of just everywhere, just destroying offensive lines, breaking right through and everything. J.J. Watt, especially in the position that he's in, to get all these sacks, he's in a very tough position on the defensive line trying to get the quarterback.
Yeah, Houston
get all these sacks, and then Houston's defense just good in general. So I mean, I could see both of them doing it. They're both determined freaking sacking machines. They could pull it off.
I like what Pep said. J.J. Watt plays on a 3-4 defense in Houston Texans defense. So what that basically means is basically when you see a lot of pass rushers, they're usually on a 4-3 defense, meaning there's 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, so 4 people rushing the passer. In the Houston Texans system, it's 3-4, so there's 3 down linemen, so it's actually harder for J.J. Watt to get after the quarterback. He's still finding angles to get after the quarterback, and he's sacking him, so it's making great plays.
Your thoughts on Alden Smith?
I don't know, I was saying both of them.
Yeah.
I pretty much said both of them.
So for the both of them? All right.
I will say that they both break Michael Strahan's record.
Yeah, both break the record.
I agree with that.
Yep. Okay. My bad, sorry.
Good.
Moving on, MVP favorite selections. Mitch, you can take this one first.
I'm going to show everyone has the same 5-6 guys. I'm going to put my 5 guys in order. I love what J.J. Watt's done for Houston, but I can't really fathom the fact that a defensive player could win the MVP, especially with all these other candidates. I like Aaron Rodgers, but here's my 5 right here. I'm going to go number 1. I'm going to go Peyton Manning because of the comeback story and because I think Tom Brady's right there, but I think just because of the record, 10-3, Denver, and coming back for the season, I think he has a slight edge over Tom Brady.
11-3 now,
11, yeah. So I'll go Tom Brady at number 2. So Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Then I'm going to put Adrian Peterson. And he has a chance to eclipse both of them in these last 2 games, especially if he gets not only Minnesota to the playoffs, but also breaks that record. And I'm only going to give Adrian Peterson an MVP vote if they do get to the playoffs. My number 4 spot is definitely Matt Ryan. What he did at the beginning of the season for Atlanta Falcons offense. It's basically what happened to Aaron Rodgers last season. He had such a big lead in the MVP race early in the season. His last couple of weeks, he didn't really need to show his best. and that's why he's fallen off a little bit. So that's why I still have Matt Ryan there. And number 5, Aaron Rodgers for the Packers.
I can't really disagree with that much at all. It's really, you can make a case for any of those guys.
Right.
Honestly, I picked Tom Brady. I obviously want Tom Brady to win another one. But, I mean, I believe that if Peyton didn't have this comeback story, that I think Tom Brady would be
right
one.
there.
I think he'd be right. I think he'd be at 1. I think he'd take it with his touchdown interception ratio this year is amazing. He's not even in double digits yet. I gotta agree with the Peyton Manning. He's got the comeback. He's arguably the best quarterback in the game. Great history in the NFL. I just don't see why you won't take it at this point.
2 questions for you, Peps. You like Tom Brady there, but who do you think that the critics will pick? You think they might pick Peyton Manning over Tom Brady?
I think I feel like they've always given the edge in general to Peyton Manning over Tom Brady, regardless of how much he's won. It's just because they just probably think he's more of the pure quarterback, like pure passing quarterback that they always want to see take the MVP. And he's to come back this year, so I think he's got everything going for him. I think he can do it. He's got the Broncos at 11-3. That's a comeback in itself too. So.
Also, if Minnesota does get into the playoffs, does that make Adrian Peterson your favorite there?
If he breaks the rushing record, I think he'll be right up there. Right in there.
All right.
I think you could argue that easily.
All right, moving on to games of the week. First game, Bengals at Steelers. Peps, you can take this one first.
I think this is going to be a very, very tough game. The Steelers are at home. Everything's going for the Bengals right now. They got the spot. They need to win to get the spot. And I don't think they're going to do it here. I think the Bengals are a team that's a good wild card team. They have a strong young quarterback and everything. They were decent throughout. I just see this is the Steelers' time to just step in and say, all right, we're at home. We really need a win. Ben's back. Everyone's coming in, and we're just going to beat the Bengals. I don't think they're going to crush them. I think it'll be like. I
thought you were actually siding with the Bengals when you
no,
said they had
I
a
picked
decent
the Steelers.
quarterback. Yeah,
I think that
I'm opposed to that.
I believe that the Steelers are going to win this game at home. They need a win. They really need a win this to keep their chances in the playoffs. I think Roethlisberger is a good quarterback to have behind you if you're trying to pull something like that out in like a 20-10 victory this week.
Yeah, I think Andy Dalton and A.J. Green is one of the most underrated quarterback to wide receiver combos. And Andy Dalton especially, a lot of people are talking about all this quarterback class, the Russell Wilsons, Andrew Luck, RG3, even Tannehill, people coming in here, Kaepernick. But everyone's forgetting about what Dalton did in only his second year. And also A.J. Green, I think possibly he's having a better season as far as touchdowns go. He's right there with Calvin Johnson as the top receiver this year. And they're basically putting them right into the discussion. Yeah. But as a Patriots fan, I'd really like actually the Steelers to win this game because I don't want to see the Ravens in that first round.
Yeah.
That's going to be a terrible draw. But I am going to go with the Steelers here. I think Bengals have the one-game advantage, so basically whoever wins this game is going to make the playoffs. Yeah. Whoever loses is going to be the odd team out here. I think the Steelers, Big Ben's back. Everything's showing. I mean, at the start of the season, everyone thought Pittsburgh was going to be right there as a Super Bowl contender with that defense, with Ben Roethlisberger, with Mike Wallace, with Antonio Smith-Brown.
Well, defense absolutely fell apart last week.
Right, but the thing
is, Dallas.
Yeah, the thing is, Big Ben got hurt, so everyone was kind of overlooking the Steelers, and now he's back. I'm going to go with the Steelers here. I think the defense is going to be able to stop.
You think the defense?
Yeah,
I think they might be a little shaky. I think it's going to be a close one. I think the Bengals are just going to sweep by.
I'll say 21-17 Steelers.
21-17 Steelers.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to the second game of the week: Giants at Ravens.
Yeah.
Now, if there was ever a big game,
and Eli likes his big game,
Ravens are already
one of the top two teams I hate are going to lose. That's good.
But you have to think. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, listen, I've been saying these last few weeks that Eli needs this win, and he's been not showing me that he's been doing what he's going to do. But he hasn't needed to win the game. Now he needs to win the game. And Joe Flacco...
Wait, what's that? Oh, I'm not supposed to lose 34-0?
Yeah. Joe Flacco, he's been suspect these last couple of weeks. Not been as best as he was earlier in the season. I'm going to go with Eli Manning here. I think he needs to have a big game, like I've been saying these last couple of weeks. He's going to be able to show a case of skills here. Everyone knows when he needs a clutch touchdown, when he needs a clutch drive, when he needs a clutch win, he shows that he can do it. And I'm going to put my money on Eli here. I'm going to say that they knock out the Ravens
You are 100% right when you say that. He is the guy who can always pull it out at the end. But like the Giants have shown in previous seasons, they're not a back-to-back.
Are the tables
They're not a back-to-back deep playoff team. which I believe that the Giants are going to go into Baltimore and lose to a Ravens team that needs to prove now more than ever that they deserve to be in that fourth spot.
They've already clinched
they
the
need
wild
to show
card
that
spot.
They're better
but
than
if they lose,
the Steelers,
if they lose
Bengals,
this one, first of all, they're losing at home. And second of all, this is 4 straight losses if they lose.
Don't you think that the Cowboys and the Redskins possibly being there at 8-6 and possibly getting the playoffs is only giving Eli more motivation to show up here?
It's going to give him more pressure and more likely to throw those infamous picks on the road this week.
True, but also those infamous drives that gets him into the playoffs. And
infamous drives, yeah, maybe in 2017. Not this year,
maybe last year.
Coming this year.
I'm just not liking Eli this
I'm not
year
either.
so far.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think the Ravens will pull it out in a 20-17 victory.
Definitely horrible showing last week, but
it is. But they have a lot to prove, just like the Giants. But I think in front of the home crowd, they need to prove it now more than ever. And if they don't, then they're done.
All right, I'll go 28-21 Giants. You?
2017.
All right,
Ravens.
I don't think it'll be that close. I think the Ravens will lock down on the Giants. I mean, Eli again with his struggles in that.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, last 6 games, he's been just pure
horrible.
Except for the comeback win against, not the comeback win, just a win against the Steelers. I mean, that's pretty much been it.
He's just been mediocre.
They scored no points through the whole Atlanta game, and then they scored no points in the second half against Washington.
Just scored no points, and then to have the balls to just be on ESPN and say, "Hey, we're the Giants."
No, but that was a huge momentum. That was a huge momentum.
You were the Giants, but are you the Giants now? That's the question, Eli.
Do you think that was the biggest win in the Atlanta Falcons history here?
I told you it was a must-win that week. I said it was a crucial win to knock them out.
Team by doing that,
to keep them down with their backs against the wall, to keep the Giants out of the playoffs.
Good Atlanta pick, good Dallas pick.
True. All right, so again, sorry, I forgot who you're taking. You're taking the Giants. You're taking the Ravens.
Yep.
I will also take the Ravens.
Right.
Moving on to Game 3, Vikings at Texans.
This one's tough because the Vikings need the win now, and the Texans don't really need the win after bouncing back. I am still going to go with the Texans because it's at Houston here. I think this whole Adrian Peterson thing, while it's a great story, I think it might be actually putting a little bit too much pressure on Adrian Peterson here. And I think Houston's going to be doing whatever they can. They know that Minnesota's going to be giving Adrian Peterson the touches to possibly break this record. So I think they're going to gear down and stopping AP and letting them pass. And I don't think Minnesota's going to have the players ready for the pass against this Houston secondary. So if I was Minnesota, I know that everyone's gearing up for Adrian Peterson. I might pass the ball a little bit more against this Houston secondary, which has been not so great these last few weeks. Yeah. But I'm going to say Houston takes this one.
I agree with that. I believe the Texans are going to win at home, too, in front of their fans and prove that they are the rightful 1 seed and are going to keep going to that stride to get to a Super Bowl. But I don't believe they will get there, in my opinion. But the Texans will win this one at home relatively easily, but I think AP will give them a fight. I know they'll probably shut them down early, but AP is still going to fight.
As much as I'd like to say, predict an underdog win, I mean,
I feel the same exact way. I want to pick the Vikings.
I'll say 24-17.
AP is going to come out like with the tenacity of a ridiculous.
He's going to be ready, but I think Houston's going to be ready.
I'm going to say 20-7 Texans.
I'll go 24-17 Houston.
All right, so all in
Here's
favor.
The big game.
All in favor of the Texans on that one. Big game of the week. 49ers at Seahawks right there. 10-3-1 the 49ers, 9-5. Creeping up there slowly but surely, the Seahawks.
Can I take this one first?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm thinking, Seattle's really good, and Russell Wilson, what he can do with his legs as well as in the air, is really shaking up the playbook. I think Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson's a real good 1-2 combo.
Marshawn Lynch is
similar to Kaepernick and Gore, only these people are faster. The thing is, the Seahawks, they're 9-5, but when they're at home, they're absolutely devastating. When they're on the road, it's a little bit different, but at Quest Field with that 12th man, they are just absolutely unstoppable, and the Patriots know that firsthand. I am going to say the Niners are going to be trying to win here to make sure that implant themselves as the number 1 seed, or Atlanta's going to be the number 1 seed, as a number 1 team and possibly favorite going into the Super Bowl, into the playoffs. I'm going to say that Seattle's going to stop them and shock everyone here. I think Marshawn Lynch is going to have a huge game. I think Russell Wilson's going to have something there. Pete Carroll's going to have an interesting play calls in this game. I'm going to say the Seahawks shock everyone at Quest Field.
The thing is, when I first saw the Seahawks team, Russell Wilson, I'm like, all right, they just got lucky. They just got a little bit of magic early on. But they're just proving it week by week. And Russell Wilson, he could be the future of this whole NFL.
He is a rookie of the year
quarterback. He is a quarterback which you rarely see in a rookie, that he is not even close to startled by the pressure at all. Yep. He embraces it. He loves it. He loves those last game-winning drives. And I think the Niners. I don't think he's as good as Russell Wilson.
I don't think he's as good. Maybe fundamentally he might be.
Maybe
better with his arm.
Yes, with his arm. But Russell Wilson's a more overall better quarterback.
He makes real good decisions. He's a great decision maker. And like Pep says, he can make that big play like he did against Packers, even though a lot of people thought that might have been a pick. They still got the win at the end. And also against the Patriots there with Sidney Rice. Every once in a while he has that big playability, and he can do it, like I said, on the ground.
After the big Monday night win, usually comes a big Sunday afternoon letdown, and that's what's going to happen here on the road for the Niners. The Seahawks.
So you're saying the Seahawks win as well?
The Seahawks are going to win. I wanted to pick them from the start. I saw this game. I'm like, Seahawks.
Do you think that Russell Wilson, he might not win the Rookie of the Year, but do you think he's at least in the Rookie of the Year?
He's definitely in the running, but the problem is when you're against Andrew Luck and RG3, It's so tough to try and stand out.
I still got to give it to Andrew Luck.
So you both go with the Seahawks?
I go with the Seahawks.
I guess I'll have to be the odd man out this week, and I'll have to go with the 49ers. Despite
they showed me a lot.
I know
they did, but
first half.
Yep.
That's you gotta remember though. You're facing the Patriots.
Right.
You're facing the number one offense. Who's gonna be the number one offense when you have Tom Brady at your quarterback? So many levels of skills that it's not even crazy.
I feel like
the final score shows that the Patriots will hang with anyone offensively.
But it's not about the Patriots right now. It's just about that defense. Just the hits they were making pre-halftime just let down.
Another reason
to come into a snowing Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean,
another reason why this is game of the week is because you gotta people overlook these interdivisional matchups with the Patriots losing to the Bills and the Niners losing to the Rams. Any team can lose. It's the divisional rivalry. That's why I think it's such an important game, and that's why I think the Seahawks can win at home.
Russell Wilson, 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half last week, and he's really doing whatever he can. And he's like I said, he's a real good decision maker, and that's why I think I might have the Seahawks over the Niners, because when the Niners are playing a Tom Brady, I mean, they can use that secondary, and they can stop Tom Brady with certain receivers, different sets there, especially without a Gronkowski. But the Seahawks, they have a unique playbook, similar to a Denver did last year.
I feel like they're better throughout. I feel like Kaepernick, after the big game, is going to have a big letdown on the road here.
All right, cool. I'm going to go Seahawks. I'm going to say it's a big one, 31-28, so they're going to squeeze by on a big play drive.
I'm going to say 24-13.
Cool.
Seahawks.
All right, that's it for football. Moving on to MLB. Kendry Morales traded for Jason Vargas. Thoughts on this trade?
Yeah, and I kind of said this last week that I thought the Angels weren't going to be done and they were going to get another starting pitcher, and that's what they did. They needed an innings eater here, and Jason Vargas, I think 217 innings pitched last year, and second year in a row, over 200. So I think this is a nice pickup there. He's not that 3.9 ERA guy that he had last year. That's just because the Mariners have a big ballpark, and the Angels, that's going to go up a little bit. But they want that innings eater as the 4th, 5th guy in that rotation. I like the trade. Kendry Morales kind of is, with all that new offense with Josh Hamilton, he's kind of expendable here. So that's what they did. They moved that guy away. Now they can put Mark Trumbo into the DH role. They can DH Josh Hamilton if they want. And that spot would have gone to Morales if he stayed. So now I like that move for both offensively and defense and pitching wise for the Angels. And then Mariners, they need all the offense they can get, and they got a lot back for Jason Vargas' real good year last year. So I like to trade both ways here.
I definitely agree with that. I think Morales, even coming off the injury and whatever happened with him, to go over there and help Seattle big time. And not as much of in most situations, I wouldn't think this would be a decent-sized victory, but for the Angels, they want to get more pitching, so I'd say it's a victory in that way. I mean, they got another pitcher who's decent. I mean, he's got a 42-50 career record. He's in the 3 ERAs. He's a decent enough pitcher. I mean, they need more pitching. Not that they need more pitching, but they want more pitching, especially right in the middle there after the starters come in and everything. And I think that he's a good pitcher to get. And pretty good move for the Angels. They got more people. They're just getting more people. That's what they're doing. They're getting rid of contracts, bringing in more people.
And now you got Weaver, C.J. Wilson, Jason Vargas, and also Tommy Hanson, who they just traded for. That's a solid 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and it's going to set them up. That's what you need in the playoffs, and they already know that they're going to get into the playoffs for that division. So I think they're giving themselves a World Series run.
For their sake, hopefully this time they will.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our final story in baseball and possibly final story of the day. AJ Przizinski traded to the Rangers.
To the Rangers,
Just
yeah.
acquired
This is a
by the
great
Rangers.
move for the Rangers. AJ Przizinski, at that age, I think he's 36 now. 27 home runs last year, so he had a great season. And they needed this. They lost Napoli there, and they needed another power guy, and they needed another catcher. So naturally, it's a great move for them. Losing Josh Hamilton, they needed another power guy that can go into that 4th, 5th spot. And this is basically, they looked in the market, and this is a good move for them. And it's a good move for Przizinski, actually, because he has a chance at a title.
I feel like this is just a sympathy thing for the Rangers. I mean,
Yeah, it's
they've lost
basically
all
that,
these
somebody.
people. It's just like, well, we can have Przizinski now. We'll take him at least. I mean, it's better than nothing. But yeah, like you said, 27 homers. I don't think he'd be a 4-hitter, but I mean, he isn't really much power fully in his career. I mean, 27 homers is good, but hey, good deal for him and the Rangers, like you said. I mean, they need anything they can get at this point. So.
All right, well, that pretty much wraps it up for this show. If any of you has anything else to throw in there.
Steven
now's
Drew to the
time.
Red Sox. Solid move.
True.
It gives the Glazers another year there.
Celtics.
Also, make sure you stay safe in the world.
Yes.
Happy
yes.
holidays.
World.
Yeah.
Apparently not. Apparently the Mayans got it wrong again.
Well, we'll see.
There you go.
Well, yes, we will see what happens in a little while. So,
A little while.
Maybe this won't ever get aired.
yeah.
I know, it might.
I know. Well,
Yeah, and
if it does get aired, you know what to do. You know to follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, obviously.
Comments.
Like us on Facebook.
Send
That's
us
the
questions.
deal right there.
You go.
Yeah. All right. Well, leaving you with a final thought of the day.
peace.
End of the world might be near, but the pitch is forever. Have a good
Happy
week.
holidays.
That's right.
Happy holidays, Merry
Nice.
Christmas.
The holidays.